Thank you all for joining our Partner Accelerator series, What's New and Upcoming in Trend Vision 1. I'm Rachel Wade, the Channel and Alliances Solution Architect, supporting our channel partners as well as our alliance partners as well. I'm joined by Winston Phillips, one of our regional account managers here at Trend. Winston, you want to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, Winston Phillips, regional account manager based out of Nashville, helping support Tennessee. That's West, Central, and East. Anything from healthcare to education. So not very verticalized here. Kind of trying to give more of a broad approach to helping position Trend today. So happy to be here, Rachel.
Awesome. Thanks, Winston. So let's go ahead and dive right into our agenda. We have a full agenda today. So we're going to cover, first I'm going to start with covering the Trend Vision 1 platform, do a basic review of that. Then I'll get into our current challenges that we're seeing in the market. Next, I'll start to talk about our updated Trim Vision 1 platform. Then I'll introduce our Trim Vision 1 AI-powered SIM and SOAR. Then I'll toss it to Winston for the sales strategies and we'll close it out. All right. So in order to understand where we are today with our Vision 1 platform, I think it's really important to know where we've come from, where we've been. And so if you go to the Trend Vision 1 website, or you go to or view any of our collateral that you've received probably in the past couple of years, you're going to be very familiar with this diagram here of our architecture. And so starting off, we have our foundation, that AI native foundation. And then built on top of that is our global threat intelligence, followed by our orchestration and automation. And the solutions that sit on top of this foundation are our email, endpoint, cloud, network, data, and identity security. And above that, we have our extended detection and response. And these components here that you see within this box, the user and identity, email, cloud infrastructure, code repositories, and more. All this data is being ingested by our XDR engine, and it's able to give you that contextual data that you see. Then you have our zero trust architecture, as well as our attack surface risk management that encompasses all of this. And so I want you to understand that the transformation that has driven Trend to innovate and update our Vision 1 platform comes from an increase in complexity and risk we were seeing in the market. And so here are a few of the main areas that we were seeing with that increased complexity and risk. You have your attack surface expansion, where users are working remotely. They're bringing their own devices and they're accessing their SaaS applications from anywhere, where all they have to do is just log in with their credentials, and they might have multi-factor authentication set up. There's also unique environments that customers are running with hybrid and multi-cloud architectures, as well as incumbent infrastructure, or that legacy infrastructure. So perhaps maybe for compliance reasons, they still have some legacy hardware, software that they're running, or they choose not to move off of that old software that's end of support. That is also considered part of our unique environments that we're seeing that increases that complexity. There's also siloed data, tools, and teams. The separation of IT, security, network, and compliance is resulting in this tool sprawl that results with you ending up with overlapping solutions. And one of the newest challenges that we're seeing, though, is now that bad actors are posing new risks to customers using AI. And there's three different areas where we're seeing this. The first area is going to be data. And so there's sensitive data exposure that is possible within these AI models, right? So if you have end users, employees, organizations who are uploading sensitive data, that has the potential to being exposed. And then you have insecure outputs being a possibility. So perhaps maybe the outputs that are being outputted by this model might not be accurate. And then there's also the possibility of extortion or deep fakes, which is when a bad actor camouflages their identity in videos just like the one I'm on now, and they speak and represent themselves as someone totally different, which is, for obvious reasons, very dangerous. And then there's the area where we're covering the model itself, where risks involve prompt injection, which can lead to data leaks. There's also jailbreaks and model denial of service, where perhaps the model is inaccessible due to a denial of service attack. There's also the possibility for the model to hallucinate, where it believes what it's saying to be accurate, but it's actually not true, which results in bad outputs of data. There's also misalignment and model poisoning, and that poisoning results in the corruption of AI outputs. Also something that is a huge risk to users and organizations today. And then the third area is going to be that management area, managing that AI model itself. There's policy violations. So perhaps an organization or a company decides that they don't want their users to access AI within their environment, and it would violate policy for the users to do so. That is happening today, which leads us into that shadow AI, where users are utilizing these AI tools within their organization, and the technical leaders, the policy managers are unaware of this AI usage. Then there's unsanctioned AI use and excessive agency by your users to access these tools. And I want to call out here that it's not that users have the capability or the possibility to use AI tools. The fact is that they are using these tools right now, which is why they pose such a threat. And what we want to do, just as a whole, like in general, from a conceptual perspective, is that we want to make sure that as we innovate with AI, we're also being secure and responsible, keeping risk in mind as we evolve. And so with AI innovation, it's really transforming industries. It's helping us analyze massive data sets for smarter decision making in areas like public health, national security, and infrastructure. It's also playing a key role in fraud detection for things like tax collection and Social Security, reducing financial losses and increasing trust. And when it comes to public services, AI-driven platforms like virtual assistants and chatbots are improving efficiency and delivering timely information. However, but as we embrace AI, security has to be a top priority. And so if you notice in those previous bullets that I just went through, a big call out was that there's AI relies on these massive amounts of data. And protecting that data is super critical in today's landscape. A breach could mean identity theft, privacy violations, or even a potential national security risk. So maintaining public trust is just as important. People need to know their data is handled responsibly. Security isn't just about compliance with regulations like HIPAA and GDPR. It's also about building the confidence in the technology itself. And with the rise of cyber attacks and zero-day threats, securing AI isn't optional. We have to implement strong security measures to protect our infrastructure and ensure integrity of both government and business operations. And so we want a solution that is going to be innovative. We want a solution that will allow for risk assessment and continuous monitoring as well, which is why Trend Vision One, with Trend Vision One, we've enhanced our platform. And I do want to call out that Trend isn't new to AI. We've been in this space since the early 2000s with just, machine learning. And so what we've done is we've built upon our AI foundation and driven even more innovation within our platform. And with the AI powered platform, there's two main components. And the first one is going to be AI for security itself. And that's where you're able to enhance the cybersecurity efforts of your SOC analysts and threat hunters with AI automated detection and response, allowing them to focus on what's important. You're also equipping your cybersecurity teams with the information and tools they need to improve their workflows, like our in-platform AI chatbot, Trend Companion. And this companion tool allows users to ask questions about what they're seeing in the Trend Vision One platform and get answers in real time. Also, what you're able to do is with the new Trend Vision One AI security or AI powered platform is that you're able to empower your cybersecurity teams to work more efficiently and effectively as well. The second component is security for AI, which enables you and your customers to secure your AI journey and defend against AI-related threats and attacks. Because of all these components, with the AI ecosystem, the threat and attack intelligence, and responsible AI, we know that proactive security starts right here, which is why it's really exciting to share our new enterprise cybersecurity platform, or maybe not new, but more like refreshed. And so what this platform is, it's the only enterprise cybersecurity platform that centralizes cyber risk exposure management, security operations, and offers robust layered protection to help you predict and prevent threats, accelerating proactive cybersecurity outcomes. And so with this first layer here, with the Trend Vision One Cyber Risk Exposure Management, formerly known as ASRM or Attack Surface Risk Management, you're able to proactively uncover, assess, and mitigate risks to reduce your cyber risk footprint. Within this solution, or within this layer of cyber risk exposure management, you have your risk exposure, as well as AI attack path prediction, which uses AI and machine learning driven remediation. You also have compliance management. So if you have users who or organizations who need to remain compliant, you can apply industry standard frameworks such as NIST or FedRAMP to your IT infrastructure to ensure compliance across the board. And on the roadmap, actually, a side note, on the roadmap, we have GDPR, CMMC, and some others coming soon. So stay tuned for those announcements as well. There's also security awareness training within our cyber risk exposure management layer. And what this has is our phishing simulation, where organizations can send out phishing simulations to end users to ensure that they are maintaining best practices to keep themselves and the organization secure. The next layer that we have, the security operations layer. This here includes the key capabilities to support your SOC teams, right? So you have your XDR, your SIEM, and your SOAR. And this is where you can correlate all of your data and receive the full context of everything that's happening within your environment. Now, after we go through those layers, we now have our Trend Vision 1 solutions, which include endpoint, cloud, network, email, identity, AI, and data security. The newest solution is AI security, and we'll be doing a deeper dive around AI security in the next coming months. So stay tuned for an announcement about that as well. But one thing I want to touch on here with these layers are going to be services. Because the Trend Vision 1 platform enables you to build services around our solutions. And so we're really excited to announce this new offering that we have for our managed service providers. We have it as XSP, meaning that you can substitute that X for whatever type of service provider you are. If you're a cloud service provider, a managed service provider, a managed security service provider, this all applies to you. And what we have available right now is our cyber risk exposure management, our CREM, our endpoint security, as well as email security, where you can build solutions, manage solutions around these offerings with Trend Vision 1. And we have more features that are rolling out April 1st, which I'm pretty sure is going to include pretty much all these solutions. So that's really exciting for those managed security partners who are on this call today. And so together, all these components make up the updated Trend Vision 1 Enterprise Cybersecurity Platform. And so now I want to really dive into how Trend Vision 1 delivers that AI-powered cybersecurity. Across the board here, we have these solutions that are feeding into our data lake, where we're doing detection on those logs and activity data. And so starting off here on the left with our endpoint security, we have AI-driven detection around those large language models, as well as deepfake detection. With cloud security, we have the Trend Companion, which explains and contextualizes workbench alerts based on cloud detections that you see within the console. With network security, we're using AI and machine learning to detect that anomalous network behavior. Under email security, we're utilizing natural language processing for anti-spam and invisible prompt injection detection. Identity security, we have anomaly detection by NVIDIA, Morpheus with AI detection mode, as well as data security that includes data classification with NVIDIA Rapids. There's some coming NVIDIA announcements around data security and identity security in the around the second or third week of March. So also be on the lookout for that announcement as well, because there's some huge news coming there as well. Now, I want to shift over to our AI SIM, which I kind of left here over to the side. Our AI SIM is sending data around our large language model that's doing third-party log ingestion and schema mapping. And the reason why I left this for last is that I really want to zoom in here and get a little bit closer to something exciting that Trend has released. And that's our AI SIM and SOAR capability. We developed these capabilities for AI SIM and SOAR because we were seeing this unprecedented amount of tools being used within the SOC environment, and with all these tools, you were seeing a lot of silos as well within all these different teams. And what happens when you have all of these silos and this tool sprawl, it brings these challenges to not just your analysts, but as well as the business as a whole. Right now, the average number of tools within a SOC are 40, which is a lot. And you have all these components here. If you see to the left, you have your CASB, your EDR, your cloud migration data, your role-based access control, as well as your two-factor authentication. All these logs are being sent into your SIM, your SOAR, and then your XDR. And then these three solutions are sending that data into the data lake, and that's duplicating all of your security telemetry, right? And so what that results in with this overlapping solution is an overload or redundancy of data lake of information in the data lake, and that results in cost proliferation. And this data is also siloed because you have three different tools that are separating this data, but still sending that into the data lake. And it takes all this time to correlate this data because it's all siloed and broken up into different pieces. And so you're having to piecemeal all this information together, which ultimately challenges the ability to measure any effectiveness for your SOC analysts, as well as your organization when it comes to mitigating risk and threats. And so what I want to show you here is what Trend is doing to fix that issue. So with all of these tools and all this data, we need to work out how we can best solve these problems. And this is where we start to take the additional telemetry that you're seeing from, the SIM, the SOAR, the XDR tools, and we're correlating that with other third-party security tools as well. And this enhances what you're capable of with XDR. These new ingestion capabilities are an extension of the value that we already offer with our XDR solution today. And this makes our platform more flexible and easier for customers to adopt. So what you're seeing here, if we look at this graph here, this image, starting to the left, your SOC analysts are now able to discover high risk correlated events. And then they can refer to threat indicators, those techniques, tactics, and procedures, tools, and CVEs used by a bad actor. And they can then quickly identify the infection chain. So where that bad actor gained access within the environment and whether or not they moved laterally. And then they can generate accurate hunting results from that data, reclaiming their time and empowering those security analysts to be more confident that they've defeated the adversary for real. And so you might say, well, okay, that's just one more tool, right? But it's not. What we've done is we've made a home for all of these third-party tools. So if you look here, we have our Trend native sensors, which covers the endpoint, email and collaboration, network, cloud, identity, and data. And that's all being sent again to the data lake. But now we also have these third-party collectors that we are ingesting as well. And if we look here, we have our top network identity and application providers, and we're taking those logs from Palo Alto, Okta, F5, Fortinet, and we're sending that to our data lake to be ingested and analyzed with our AI. And then with your cloud activity data, so your S3 buckets with AWS, your CloudTrail logs, EKS instances, as well as your Azure activity logs and Google audit logs, all that cloud activity data is being sent into that data lake. And then third are these third-party security logs, which is huge, right? Because it's really imperative to understand that Trend is playing nice. We want to be seen as almost like this open source with these other security tools so that you can achieve real consolidation. So CrowdStrike, Microsoft, Zscaler, we're taking their logs and ingesting that into our AI-powered data ingestion and analysis data lake. And so what that means for you as a organization, as a partner, is that it means that Trend now understands, well, not now understands, oh no, you might have to cut that. You got to cut it. Trend understands why it's critical to consolidate tools and provide the best contextual information about your infrastructure. Our AI-powered SIM is currently in private preview and will be coming public preview in the coming months. So again, stay tuned for that. There's a lot of new things coming, so it's great to keep your ear to the ground to hear what we're releasing and what we're announcing coming soon. I'm going to toss it over to Winston here to take it over and position Trend Micro and offer some sales strategies.
Thank you, Rachel, for that quick update on what we're really doing as far as AI detections and the consolidated approaches. We have quite a number of updates for you, quite a number of technical updates for you. But it's very important that we understand how Trend is positioned when we're having conversations with our customers, right? So this, if it hasn't invoked any sort of migraine yet, just give it a minute. The slide will, I promise. But being part of the channel, being a value-added reseller, there are so many pieces of value that you offer to your customer. And today, we're just going to focus strictly on cybersecurity, right? Just strictly on the security front. So when you look at any one of these initiatives that may be falling under that your customers may be discussing today, such as network security, message security, data security, identity and access management, or AI, right? Your job as a value added reseller is to ensure that your customers don't have to sift through the hundreds of vendors that provide these services on each and every module, right? Really, it's meant to present your customer with the best option that they can have that will help enable them the most to accomplish that initiative, right? So, a lot of value being added to customers there. But let's talk about Trend's position in the market today. Now, Trend has been around for about 35 years doing cybersecurity, right? Really innovating on the forefront of a lot of these cutting edge solutions and a lot of responsive actions to the market as we see it. When you discuss Trend Micro with your customers, and when I discuss Trend Micro with some of my prospects, right? When we bring up Trend Micro, these are typically the solutions that are perceived, right? These are typically what these prospects believe that Trend Micro offers today. And while they are true, endpoint security, web security, and messaging security, the reality of it over decade of research and development is this is where we sit today, right? More of a breadth, more of an understanding of some of the needs of our customers, some of the technologies that we're implementing, right? In order to really help with the consolidated approaches of cybersecurity. And of course, as Rachel discussed earlier, all of these capabilities feed into one platform, which you can see right here with Vision One, right? What this does is really helps us be unique, be creative on different ways that we can collectively grow our book of business. So I can't tell you how many deals that we've worked where a customer already has an endpoint protection in place, but we were able to pivot to another area of cybersecurity that helped drive that initiative that they had at that time. Great example would be, as Rachel put it, cyber risk exposure management. Anything having to do with risk and compliance or network security, right? That's a whole other aspect of security that you can touch on. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't help consolidate, right? What are the key takeaways? What are the key points of conversation that you can have with your customers today over Trend Micro, some of their initiatives, and what would help really build the bridge between us, yourselves, and your customers, right? So first and foremost, this is a very strong area that Trend Micro plays in, and that's of course going to be cloud migrations and projects. Anything from expansions, adoptions, listed migrations, and other initiatives having to do with public cloud infrastructure, specifically AWS, Azure, and GCP, right? A lot of what Trend provides here are protections, compliance, optimizations for these public cloud environments. And it's a very strong suit to help introduce Trend in more of a creative way, right? That you can grow your book of business on a particular piece of the business that you may not be bringing up with your customers, right? So I assure you, security is at the forefront of their thoughts when they are trying to implement, migrate, or expand in their cloud infrastructure. Second piece that we are seeing a lot of in the industry today is a vendor consolidation. There's a number of reasons why this is going about, right? We are seeing what the traditional outlook on consolidation is we don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. There's a lot to be said about that, right? There's a lot of risk associated with putting all your eggs in one basket. And while we're not seeing a natural consolidation to one vendor, we are certainly seeing a natural consolidation to around 3 or 4. Rachel did an excellent point earlier in her presentation talking about the average amount of tools in the Security Operations Center today. And yes, she was correct, 40 tools in the Security Operations Center today. I've had customers using 14, 15 different security tools in their security stack, right? This natural consolidation to 3 or 4 different vendors yields a lot of opportunity for your accounts. Cost optimization, a more intuitive security approach that allows for a proactive shift in security, right? So there's a lot of that discussion happening today. If you're not asking your customers if they have plans to consolidate, not only in security, but in other aspects of the business, I highly recommend you do so and be at the forefront of those conversations. And last but not least, security modernization, right? So I went ahead and discussed some of the shift left mentality in cybersecurity and how we're dealing with risk, how we're able to spot the smoke before the fire as far as security is concerned, right? What can we do today to ensure that we are not responding to an alert that could have been prevented days, weeks in advance, right? And if you're going to leave today with any bit of information, any sort of question that you can ask your customer today, I would certainly lean with what are you doing today as far as risk is concerned in your security program? That is a very, very strong question to ask. That's going to open up a lot of doors for you, not just as far as your relationship with Trend Micro, but other pieces of the business to help give you an idea of where your customer's sitting, if they're wishing to mature either their infrastructure or security program, and really help open up that book of business for you and to be able to view yourself, right, as that partner for your customer. And of course, right, if you have any questions on where Trend Micro can be introduced, how we can help you in those conversations, please feel free to reach out to your local Trend Micro representative, Rachel Wade, myself, or Emma, and we'd be more than happy to help you in those conversations.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Winston. That was some really great insight on some sales strategies that our partners can implement today. I want to thank you all for joining our session today. As it was fantastic having you all on the call. If you have any additional questions, like Winston said, definitely reach out to me, Winston, or your account manager for a deeper dive. We look forward to seeing you on the next session for the Partner Accelerator webinar series. Thank you all. Bye.